I asked you which Stray Kids song I should check out next, and you responded with this one and said that, by the way, Felix's voice is pretty cool and needs to be analyzed in this setting. So, having done just a couple analysis videos from this group, I'm excited to see what this one has to offer. Okay, one note, and listen to what he does with one note. Okay, two notes. Da-da! Listen to this, the way that he creates tonal variation, breath pressure variation. It can be interesting because it's not just this totally robotic sound. Yes, there is pitch correction on this. I bet there's going to be a lot of pitch correction. That's just part of the genre. I'm going to listen through it, and I'm still going to point out all the neat things they're doing with their voice. In this particular case, it doesn't ruin it for me. So let's first talk about placement. He starts with a lower larynx sort of position. It makes it sound like huskier. It's back. But then, as he morphs, as he continues to sing this note, even as he's changing his vowels, his placement changes independently of the vowels he's using. That allows it to be darker and more heavy sometimes, and brighter and more hitting you right in the front of your face. Then there's something he's doing with compression. He's holding back air with the structures above his vocal cords. This is not a vocal cord distortion, not like a ha, 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 not like a fry, but a compression-based distortion. Like lower. Hey! As he brings the placement more forward and bright, he employs that compression. And you can do this by holding a note and then pretending to lift something heavy. Just make sure that focus of sensation is really high in your throat. Catch. There's also a bit more nasality. It's so cool to hear him on one note show us all of these flavors. Okay, now that one, that's probably not how he talks. There's a bit of a cry going on. I've talked about this in a lot of other videos. If you're around that pitch as a male, even a male tenor, it'd be really easy to be heavy and lengthy like we heard the previous vocalist, but no, he's actually gonna sort of whine it just a little bit, and we can get really ugly with this, and some singers call this, some vocal coaches call this twang, or cry. We're gonna be just a little bit witchy and be on sort of the ragged edge of our voice. A different way to approach your voice, not just a different vocalist. You can even hear a little bit of fry coming in. That's because he is on that ragged edge. He's not pressing too much. He's sort of doing the antithesis of what we heard the last vocal doing. And it's a neat contrast. Same there. And then listen. Beautiful. We've lengthened and warmed up up the sound. We've gone from this sort of thing to right here. Of course, I'm exaggerating everything. And then listen to the way the background vocals are placed.
Because we're one of a kind. 누구도 따라할 수 없는 now on game. 시작부터 다 우리 거. 잠깐 돌아간다 해도 결국 다시 찾게 돼.
Now listen to how the vocal weight changes as that vocal ascends. This is cool because so far we've had different vocalists showing different postures and then they've blended together nicely. But here we have someone sort of changing their approach as they go higher, which one should do if they're going higher efficiently and with freedom. Cause it's pretty heavy and then take it on again. You can hear a little bit of that cry thing that I was talking about earlier. See how free and light it is. Because I found this balance with the cry and my chest voice. No, I'm not reaching for that note. And I can go higher and higher and then add weight to it because I'm entering with a lighter back, less belted posture. Lots of people think that if you want to go sing really high, you have to belt it. You have to be powerful. That's not what they're doing. And that's not what a lot of great singers do. By the way, if you would like help understanding how these postures can work in your own voice, click the link below and join my free singing course. You can find it in the pinned comment or the video description. I'll help you feel out coordinations in your voice, experiment non-judgmentally, and pull things out of your voice you never thought were possible. That's that compression. Again, not a fry follia party thing. No, not that. There's an aggression to it. A little bit more breath pressure, but you can do that safely as long as you learn how to budget it and create it in the right places in your vocal tract. Oh, super long and husky, right? Low larynx. Now, this is another thing that we hear and see so far is that we're not going for a fixed larynx position. Should your larynx be high? Should your larynx be low? Should your larynx be? Yes, let it do whatever. And then if it's free and floating, you can get all these different sounds and postures. Yes, I realize these are different vocalists, but we hear even one vocalist switching his approach as he ascends a line. Ah, there he is. See, I kind of like that, right? It's not ratcheted down with tuning, and then they really ratchet it down as a special effect. So we hear the pitch stepping it. I like it when stuff's inserted like that on purpose. They're not trying to shroud or hide anything. It's part of the art. It's part of the genre. That's a neat dissonance there. Chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin. 미의 정점을 찍고 눈에 보여 illusion. Now, it's not just that his voice is low and thick and beautiful. He's using specific techniques to accentuate what is already cool about his voice. I'm a 5-star Michelin. 미의 정점을 찍고 눈에 보여 illusion. 처음 느꼈지 이런 감정. 놀랄 거야 gonna shock. Let's go back and listen to that little section. Looking like a chef, I'm a fire. Looking like a chef. Now, the first thing I notice is that he's not leaning terribly into his voice. Looking like a chef. He's not trying to project. He's laying back into this resonance. looking like a chef. But it's not a lazy laying back. Looking like a chef, looking like a chef, looking like a chef. You hear how I both brought the sound out of my face and found a breath pressure balance that was going to give me a nice sheen? If I'm pushing too hard or swallowing that sound to make it sound low, it does the opposite of what I want it to do. Looking like a chef, looking like a chef. That doesn't work. Looking like, I actually brightened my voice to make it sound lower and more beefy because I'm bringing out a presence. It's a huge misconception that in order to sound lower and beefier, we need to cover our sound. It's the opposite. Now, there's one other thing that he's doing, which is tapping into what I said that the singers earlier who were singing with distortion were not doing. He's using just a little bit. He's on the edge of fry. Listen.
Looking like a chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin.
Looking like a chef. Looking like a chef. Chef. You're on that very ragged edge and you find this place to exist where right before you go into fry, it almost creates a presence right there. I'm finding it. I'm kind of going in and out of it. Looking like a chef. So play with that in your own voice. Choose a note that's low and then try moderating your breath pressure and going in and out of fry and holding a note. And see if you can find those textures in your voice. He's programmed these muscle memories in so well that he can exist in that sheeny depth of low tonality.
Looking like a chef, I'm a 5-star Michelin. 미의 정점을 찍고 눈에 보여 illusion. 처음 느꼈지 이런 감정. 놀랄 거야 gonna shock. 바로 감정. 처음을 스웨터. 싹 다 unlock. 아이디어 break. 머릿속이 털어. 지루게 궁금하다면 우리 그대로 answer.
That was a cool different posture change. It's kind of representing what I heard earlier from vocalist to vocalist. Such freedom.
계속 만들어가 새롭게 because we're one of a kind 누구도 따라할 수 없는 our own game 시작부터 다 우리 거 잠깐 떠나갔다 해도 결국 다시 찾게 돼.
There's that nice weight transfer as we're ascending again. Hey! So on that descent, he's adding that compression-based distortion. Clean. Let's get on the edge, almost to where we have fried, where you get some of that rasp. And then we're gonna switch to that compression bass. Yeah. Oh.
보지 말고 더 망설이지 말고 비벼. 네, 손님.
Even with all that tuning, you can still hear that airiness that he's getting from being on the edge of fry. I'm telling you, finesse. 어서 shit show. 어서 shit show. I like the slidey around in the conjunction with the added distortion and the back off of distortion. Lots of detail. Love hearing all the different vocal postures blend together in such creative ways. And what's fun is that, of course, each voice offers a unique texture, but even within each voice, they're not afraid to explore different sounds, things that initially, as a vocalist learning, you might think are, oh, those kind of silly. Those are weird sounds. But they make it work, not just because they're good vocalists. It's because they're willing to go outside their comfort zone and incorporate things that may seem a little bit silly at first, that they become great vocalists. If you'd like help doing just that with your voice, finding new sounds and incorporating them in artistic and freeing ways, click that link below in the pinned comment or video description and join my free singing course. And here's another video that I've done on the Stray Kids. We'll see you for more.